Hello, let's do some FLL. This is lesson 83. You can pause me and get it if you don't have it. Okay, the definition of a sentence. A sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. Say it again, I think I said word and not words. A sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. Some groups of words are just pieces of sentences. These pieces of sentences are called fragments. Fragments do not make sense by themselves. You need to add words, like a subject or a verb, to make a sentence expressing a complete thought. So, exercise 1, these are fragments. You need to see what it needs, a subject or a verb. And then you can add words to make that fragment a complete sentence. Keep them appropriate. So, fragment 1, we just have was covered with jelly. You need a subject. So go ahead and add a subject to that sentence in front of it. I don't know if it gives you space to write it. If you want to pause and write it out, you can pause and write it out. I'll let you do the next 3 on your own. You can just pause and then write out either the verb that it needs to be a complete sentence or the subject. Okay, moving on. A conjunction. Let's say the definition of a conjunction together. A conjunction is a word that joins words or groups of words together. The most common are and, but, and or. And, but, and or. A conjunction can join 2 verbs. So let's look at exercise 2. The bear sniffed and snorted. That's funny. Sniffed and snorted. The conjunction and look in the diagram, the conjunction and is linking 2 verbs together. Sniffed and snorted. It's linking them together. Sorry. So there are 2 verbs, sniffed and snorted, in the predicate. I think that's all I want to say about that. And that's how you diagram it. See? It's on the those are 2 verb lines split and joined by the word and. So I'm going to let you, using that as a template, to go ahead and do the diagram for the bear nibbled and swallowed. So you can pause me and fill out that diagram. Alright, exercise 3. So you just learned, or well, reviewed, that a sentence can have 2 verbs joined by conjunction. Here we have 2 subjects joined by conjunction. Humans and bears stand on 2 feet. So we have 2 subjects, humans and bears. Look at the diagram. They're both on subject lines, but they're joined together by the conjunction and that's in that triangle. So notice where the conjunction goes. Notice that the first subject mentioned in the sentence goes on the top line and the second one goes on the bottom. So I want you to try doing the second sentence in exercise 3, mothers and cubs forage in the wilderness. Go ahead and try to diagram that on your own. Pause me and I'll meet you in exercise 4. Alright, exercise 4 is just combining the last 2 exercises you did. This sentence has 2 subjects and 2 verbs. So you'll have 2 things that go on your subject line and 2 that go on your verb line. go ahead and try to diagram that on your own. I believe you'll be able to do it without a problem. All right. What else can conjunctions do? They can join two subjects to make sentences with compound subjects. They can join two verbs to make sentences with compound predicates. That's what we've just done. But they can also join two sentences together to make a longer compound sentence. So to make a compound sentence, you're going to need a comma and a conjunction. Both of those things. So let's look at exercise 5. We're going to read them, and then I want you to circle both the comma and the conjunction. Bears are shy of humans, comma, but they will explore their campsites. So circle the comma and circle your conjunction. Number 2, you can research black bears, comma, or you can research grizzlies. Circle your comma and conjunction. And number 3, grizzlies are enormous, comma, and they can run with surprising speed. So circle your comma and your conjunction. All right, so do you remember the meaning of the word splice? It means to join ends together. In compound sentences like the ones we just read, the two smaller sentences are spliced together with a comma and a conjunction. That is a strong splice. If you just used a comma and didn't use a conjunction, the splice would be too weak to hold the sentences together properly. That is called a comma splice. So let's look at exercise 6. We're going to read the sentences with comma splices, and we're going to draw a line through them after we read them to show that they are incorrect. Bears gain weight before their long sleep. They lose it during the winter. That is a comma splice, and it's no good, so scratch it out. Bears in the Northwest love salmon. It's their favorite food. Comma splice, no good, scratch it out. Bears love fish, they eat mice as well. Comma splice, no good. Not a correctly punctuated sentence, so scratch it out. You need both a comma and a conjunction to hold two smaller sentences. Comma is not enough. Sometimes a writer forgets to put anything at all between two sentences, and that is a run-on sentence, and it's no good. So two sentences just run together, not joined by a comma and conjunction, and that is bad news. So let's look at exercise 7. These are run-on sentences. Black bears have smooth and shiny coats. Grizzlies have coarse fur. Run on, scratch it out. The black bear can climb trees. He is quite agile. Nope, no good. Scratch it out. Be wary of all bears. They are wary of you. Run on, scratch it out. Those run-on sentences needed a comma and a conjunction, or a much stronger punctuation mark, a semicolon. A semicolon can properly join two smaller sentences into a compound sentence without needing any help from a conjunction. So now we're going to read the compound sentences in exercise 8, and I want you to circle each semicolon that joins the two smaller sentences. Grizzlies have brown fur, semicolon. They can also have grizzled, gray streaked fur. Store your food away from your campsite, semicolon. a bear might come for it. Bears have a keen sense of smell, semicolon. It is much better than yours. That's rude. You don't know how keen my sense of smell is. It's not true. They do have much better smell. Okay, exercise 9. We need to read these sentences. Figure out if it's a fragment. So if it's a fragment, it's missing either a subject or a verb. A sentence with a comma splice, which means that they're trying to link two sentences together with only a comma, no conjunction. A run-on sentence, where they don't use a comma or a conjunction. Or a compound sentence, where it has either a comma and a conjunction or a semicolon. So I want you to go through all 8 of these sentences. If it is a fragment, write an F beside it. If it is a comma splice, write a CS beside it. If it is a run-on sentence, write RO beside it. And if it is a correct compound sentence, write a C beside it. And pause me. We'll meet in exercise 10. All right. Exercise 10. We're going to look at the compound sentence, and it's 2 smaller diagrams joined together by a dotted line. So number 1, the biologist followed the bear, comma, but the bear clambered down some rocks. So here we have a compound sentence. That means there's 2 sentences joined together by a conjunction and a comma. Notice, it is like you have diagrammed the first part of the sentence, the biologist followed the bear, on the front part, and then there's a dotted line with our conjunction, but, written on it, and then the second part of your sentence, or the second sentence. So it's like you have 2 different diagrams joined together by a dotted line and the conjunction. Look at number 2. The biologist sighed, semicolon. The bear was gone. Here, it's the same thing. It's a compound sentence, but instead of a conjunction, you just have a semicolon. So it's the same thing. The first simple sentence was diagrammed, the second simple sentence was diagrammed, and then there's a dotted line connecting them. Instead of writing the conjunction on that dotted line, you write the semicolon. Easy peasy, right? So now, I'm going to set you loose on exercise 11. You're going to be diagramming some compound sentences. So, you have 3 of them. You can always consult your parent, ask your parent for help, but I'm going to set you loose on them, and I believe you can do them. So, exercise 11, do 1, 2, and 3 on your own, and have a blast.